Hey gamers, it's Artea. In this video, I'll be going over a whole bunch of new ways to make gold in the Blackwood chapter. The public test server for Update 30 is up and running, and the patch notes have been released, so all of my information will be sourced from these patch notes, and from my time spent on the PTS. Do keep in mind that I'm making this video on the first week of the PTS being up, and that the information presented to you may be subject to change as developers tweak values or change the material over the following weeks of testing. Regardless, a lot of these new gold earning opportunities follow the same framework that's already present in all of the other DLC chapters in the game, so I think it's fair to presume that not much will change on that front. This video will discuss and contain footage of different locations, furnishings, and outfit styles that will come with the Blackwood chapter, so if you'd rather go into Blackwood completely blind, consider this your fair warning for minor content spoilers ahead. There are a handful of new motifs that will be added into the game in the Blackwood chapter. Acquiring motifs to sell can prove to be a very worthwhile endeavor if the motifs look juicy and are subsequently worth a lot of gold. The Ancestral Akaviri motif can be acquired in the same manner as the Ancestral Reach motif. You must first find a lead for the Ancestral Akaviri motif by digging up treasure chests associated with treasure maps for the zone Blackwood. Do recall that leads for ancestral motifs only have a chance of dropping from these treasure map chests and not overland ones, so hang on to those Blackwood treasure maps. Well, either sell them for a hefty amount of gold or go treasure hunting, because you already know that this motif style is going to be expensive. Upon successfully scrying and digging up this lead, you'll be rewarded with the tradable motif page. I'm still selling Ancestral Reach motifs from Markarth for anywhere from 250k to 1 mil, so we can expect that the Ancestral Akaviri motif pages will be worth around the same amount. The Ivory Brigade motif style pages can be acquired by doing daily quests in Blackwood, such as World Boss and Delve dailies. Grab your dailies from Britta Solanus and Detum Joss in Leowin, and complete them by gathering the necessary items associated with the Delve daily, or by killing the World Boss associated with your World Boss daily. Once completed, you may hand these dailies in to the same NPCs and receive a reward coffer. Much like the reward coffers for each DLC zone, these containers have a chance to drop gear that is specific to the zone, style materials that correspond with the style of the gear in the zone, and motifs. In this case, if you're lucky, the Ivory Brigade motif may just drop from a reward coffer. I personally think this motif looks pretty nice, so I'd imagine that it would actually sell for a decent amount. Do keep in mind the fact that Blackwood's going to be a very populated zone upon release, so the price of this motif may experience a significant decline as the market gets more and more saturated with these motifs from everyone doing their dailies in this new zone. But because the motif itself is so sharp, I can only imagine that the prices will recover in time, much like the Sapiarch style from Somerset, and less like the Blackreach Vanguard style from Greymoor. But we'll have to see and find out. If you're looking to learn this motif style for yourself, I would advise keeping an eye on their prices and waiting until their value eventually stops dropping and levels off before buying up all of the motifs for yourself. As a seller, you're going to want to sell these motifs while the hype is still high and the market's yet to be saturated, so within the first couple of days. Otherwise, if we do experience a significant drop in price, you may just have to hang on to them for a while until their value recovers. The patch notes state that additional motifs will be made available in Blackwood in a future update. I'm going to take an educated guess here and say that these new motifs will follow the same guidelines as the DLC motifs that have come before. We will more than likely see a new consumable motif style from the Rock Grove trial, and it will be a motif for the style of the actual gear in the trial. This motif will likely have a chance to drop from completing Rock Grove on the veteran level of difficulty, with perhaps a guaranteed drop upon completing the hard modes. The other styles of the Blackwood Overland gear will also likely become motifs, perhaps obtainable from a specialized daily that's specific to the zone, much like the Wayward Guardian motifs dropping from Arendir's Grey Host Eradicating daily quests, or Palatine motifs dropping from Battlereeve Tannerline's Dragon Hunting daily quests. Needless to say, it'll be in your best interest to be able to be proficient in the new trial, and to do a fair amount of questing in Blackwood, to unlock and make use of these opportunities that will be made available in future updates. A vast array of new furnishings will be added in the Blackwood chapter. Leowin-inspired furnishing plans have a chance to drop from monsters and containers in the Blackwood zone. Do recall the types of containers that have a chance to drop furnishing plans. It's important to note that there are cooldowns in place for each rarity of furnishing plan. For example, if you loot a blue furnishing plan from a wardrobe, your character will be placed on a cooldown that will prevent you from looting another blue furnishing plan for an undisclosed amount of time on that character. Some players theorize that it's around 15 to 30 minutes, but you'll still be able to have a chance to loot a green or purple furnishing plan in this time period. If you were to find a green plan then, after having discovered that blue plan moments ago, you'd get placed on a cooldown for green furnishing plans, and the clock would still be ticking down on your blue furnishing plan cooldown. Hope that made sense. I just figured that you guys better know this so that you don't go wasting your time farming aimlessly for new furnishing recipes when your character's on a cooldown, and likewise unable to receive any. 10 new Deadlands-inspired furnishing plans can also occasionally be found when completing Daedric Portals, the new world event for Blackwood. Rare paintings also have a chance to drop from treasure chests found across the Blackwood zone. Given my experience with these kinds of paintings that come out with every chapter, they tend to be worth a whole lot upon release, and then their value tanks to around 20 or 30k each because of how cracked the supply of these paintings gets from everyone playing in the new zone. After a considerable amount of time, the value of these paintings will recover and likely be worth more than 100 or 200k, in some cases even more. For example, I have a rare Velothi painting that you can get from Vardenfell chests worth 15 million in my kitchen. If any of these paintings cannot be purchased in the Crown Store, we can expect their values to be insane. There are 2 public dungeons in Blackwood, Zenithar Abbey and the Silent Halls. Much like all of the other public dungeons associated with a DLC chapter in the game, there is a chance that you may receive collectible and sellable fragments while killing mobs in either of these dungeons. As observed from these previous public dungeons, if you combine enough of these fragments together, you'll receive an item, such as an entire outfit or a non-combat pet, among other things. In Zenithar Abbey, you have a chance at collecting inscribing shards. If you collect enough, they may all be combined to unlock the replica Zenithar Additum Gate. In the Silent Halls, you have a chance at collecting scaly cloth scraps. If you collect enough, they can all be combined to create the Thrafe Debutante gown. These fragments can be traded and sold, and they oftentimes are worth a fair amount of gold on release, and then again sometime after the hype has died down, should their values ever recover. To give you some rough numbers to work with, it seems like public dungeon fragments can be worth anywhere from 30 to 50k when the hype for them is high, and or the market's not saturated with them, and around 10k when the demand is low. The new Nibonese Court Wizard armor style pages can be found within the trophy vaults in the Imperial City. Trophy vaults are in these special rooms that require key fragments to enter. You get key fragments from killing mobs in the Imperial City, the dungeons, White Gold Tower, and Imperial City Prison, or by purchasing them from players through guild traders. Once you have enough key fragments, 60 for the vaults in IC, you may gain access to these rooms, and however many fragments you have on you get converted into keys that can be used to open the vault within these rooms. I wonder if this notion will increase the demand and likewise gold value of key fragments. The devs have also mentioned that the chance to find these style pages increases with higher Telvar multipliers, meaning the more Telvar you have on you, the greater the chance that you'll receive a Court Wizard style page from the vaults. Like everything in IC, the greater the risk, the greater the reward. I'm going to go ahead and say that these style pages are going to be worth a lot, much like everything that can be sourced from the Imperial City. And that's more or less it for now. There are a few other things that I'd like to explore further, but because of bugs on the PTS and time constraints, it just wasn't possible to discuss absolutely everything in a timely manner. I will be uploading a written accompaniment to this post on my website that's all about making gold on ESO. In the coming weeks, they'll be sure to detail absolutely every single way to earn gold in Blackwood, even things that I may have missed in this video. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers!